Are you living your passion? What is your passion? Welcome to the Luxe Life Discovered podcast, where we talk with people who are living a lifestyle that reflects their passion, because we believe everyone should enjoy living their best life, their Luxe Life.
Hello, I'm Rick Steiner. Welcome to Luxe Life Discovered. The purpose of this podcast is to showcase the amazing talent, the great destinations, and the great skill level of what is available here in the PCB and the Gulf Coast area. I have fallen in love with the area and discovered some of the best talent that can be compared to anywhere in the major cities in the U.S. So I wanted to start a podcast to showcase that talent. So my co-host is Shannon Richmond. So Shannon, tell me a little about your connection with PCB and
Okay. Well, I've been here since I was 8 years old, so I probably know almost everybody here. Our town has grown tremendously. The businesses that have been brought to this area, it's just great. I mean, to see our area grow like this and see the businesses grow, it's pretty cool.
How do you feel like everybody has responded since Hurricane Michael? Because that has been such a defining point, and it's still such a defining point in this area that most people don't understand. There's still a lot of areas and businesses that haven't rebounded from that yet.
That's true. We do see a little bit of that, but right after Hurricane Michael, we saw a lot of businesses come in to help and to help all the other businesses to rebuild. And we see that happening, and we see those businesses finding homes here now. So they're not going back to where they came from. They found what they love here.
Well, as you know, Hurricane Michael, it gave me my connection. It went from being the annual tourist, coming down for 2 weeks in June. And so we came the week after Hurricane Michael, volunteered with Nikki, who has actually put us connected us. And for that week that we were here, I volunteered with her at the her shelter, her drop-off center, and did that for like 10 hours a day, 6 days of the 7 days we were here.
That was amazing.
So to get that local connection and not just a tourist connection,
right?
It just opened so many doors. And like I said, we fall in love with the area.
So you're no longer just a tourist?
No, and I can tell that when I come in and the traffic is bad. It's like, my goodness, all the tourists are here. And I'm thinking, oh, wait, I'm one of them. So,
So I have a different take on that. When we see traffic, it's like,
True.
woohoo, look at all the business coming to our area.
That's exactly right. And we have to remember that too. So,
right.
And then speaking of businesses in the area, have you been, you're involved with the Chamber.
I am.
And tell me what you do at the Chamber.
So I work for the Panama City Beach Chamber of Commerce, and I am the Vice President, Director of Membership Services. And probably the last 5 years, our membership has almost doubled.
Right.
And you ask, why has it doubled? Well, because members do business with members. So we see all these people out here looking for some help, and they're out there struggling. As soon as they join the chamber, they just joined a whole network of friends and family, like you, when you joined the chamber.
Well, that's been the best decision I made, no doubt, because your chamber and the philosophy of business, working with businesses, and has been huge, because rather than being a member of chamber that sends the annual invoice for dues,
right?
I mean, if people aren't involved, if they're a member of the chamber, it's their fault.
That's right. So, besides saying members do business with members, we're not just the slap a sticker on your door and call you a member. We actually make sure we're connecting with you. We say, hey, if you need a connection, let us know. We'll give you several. Anybody that needs whatever they need, if they use the chamber benefits that they have, they will grow, and you can actually see it.
True. Oh, I'm a believer, believe me. So, and then tell us, like, the chamber covers from...
So we are Bay County and beyond. Okay. We cover all of Bay County here locally, but as far as we drive is probably from Port St. Joe to Fort Walton. That's where we visit our members, actually visit and see our members. But we do have members outside of that. My sister lives in Dallas, Texas. She's a member of our chamber. And you're like, why? Well, because she has a website, and her website is able to be seen by anybody. And because our members are such fantastic members and they look for other members to do business with, she gets more business from us than she does her own local chamber.
Well, I believe that.
Yeah.
Well, recently, I had told you about this, a young man from Texas contacted me who was going to be in Panama City Beach and wanted to do a flyover and proposal to his fiance or his girlfriend at the time. And so it was funny because I was out of state, he's out of state, we're coordinating everything with local people here. And, it was a turnout and great, and he was just totally thrilled, and she was impressed. So
Wasn't it so nice to make a couple phone calls from who you met through the chamber to make all that happen?
all chamber members, so it
Yeah,
worked out
I
well.
love that.
Yeah. We always say you have the good Shannon and the bad Shannon. When I talk to people, the good Shannon's like, oh, they're a member of the chamber. On the left shoulder is the bad Shannon, like, they're not a member. They're not a
Yeah,
member. So,
I can't use my dollars on a non-member.
Right. Well, and the networking opportunities are amazing as well.
Right. So, you know, a lot of people do a lot of cold calling in this area, and that's okay. It's not as effective as if you're a member, because then the cold calls are gone. You walk in and you say, hey, I'm a member of the Panama City Beach Chamber. I just wanted to introduce myself. Well, all the walls came down and they let you walk in. How easy is that?
And a lot of places, members give discounts to other members.
They do.
Which is awesome.
They absolutely do.
Yeah. Well, good. So tell me about your childhood. So you said you've been here since you were 8?
I've been here since I was 8.
Okay.
My dad had a local paint manufacturing company here. And after that, he started doing diving and owned a dive shop and dive boats. One thing that when we were having lunch yesterday, I told you never told my dad you had nothing to do. He'd call you, hey, what's going on today? Oh, not much. Oh, great. You want to come on the boat? That meant you were deckhand.
Right.
But
So
it was a lot of fun.
So you learned to have plans.
Always have plans.
I
But
understand
so
that.
we were deckhands for my dad. It was amazing. But living here has just been so gratifying. I mean, you go to all these big cities and you're like, wow, I really love this big city. And then you get lost, and then you're just a little bitty fish in a big pond. And you come here, and everybody knows you, and they love on you, and they make sure that they're getting you connected and getting you to where you need to be.
Right.
So big cities, I loved them for a little while, but here we're starting to get that big city feel.
Well, you know, that's funny you say that, because when we come down, of course, we're here usually in the summer until a year ago, that, you know, when you're here, there are people everywhere. So you think Panama City Beach is much larger than it is, and you'd get lost here.
Right.
And then once you get involved, you realize it's not as large as you think,
Right.
but it's large enough to have all of the opportunities and talent that I mentioned earlier that the big cities have.
Yeah,
And
it's amazing.
Yeah.
And look at people from New York, for example. They have these tiny little houses that are millions of dollars in their houses. Here, you come here, you buy a house less than your millions of dollars, and you're right by the beach. You go to the
Right.
beach, you have something fun to, I mean, my neighbors where we live, a lot of them are all from New York, New Jersey, and they're moving here, and they're bringing their businesses here. And it's because they're getting such a huge value from being here. They don't want to be in a big city and, you know, just be a number. You're not a number here. You're
No.
known. We all know what your business is and who you are and what you do.
And if they don't know you, they can find someone that does.
That's right.
That's a
I
good
hope
thing
so.
about it too. Yeah.
I hope so.
So and that so for me coming in as an event planner, it's the opportunities are amazing in that area as well. But you know, it's like, for example, on my Instagram last night, I shared a post that actually the lady that owns Destin to Wed, her company.
Mm-hmm.
It was an image of a lounge setup that they did at a wedding reception. So I contacted her and I said, hey, would you mind if I share this on my page, and I'll tag the people involved, and I'll also do a disclaimer saying SCG was not involved. But like I said, the talent in this area is just incredible. And so even as a planner, and that's another planner's work, I love to showcase it because it's amazing. And I think that's what you do. You know, you just discover the talent, and that's part of the Luxe Life Discovered. It's going to be fun on the podcast as we interview other people today, and that just get their stories, their take on the local area, what it means to them, and it's going to be a great journey. And you know, as we were talking yesterday, I mean, we've got enough guests in mind. Well, we're into the spring already with that. So.
I love it. Well, and it's because there are people that are really rooted here,
Right.
and some might just be newly rooted, but they're going to explain to us what
brought them here.
What brought them here, and it's the area and it's the people. You come here, you can't go. I mean, you leave, you come back.
This episode of Luxe Life Discovered is brought to you in part by Steiner Event Group. Steiner Event Group is a national event planner that produces results for their clients. They offer event and wedding planning on any scale, hosting bridal shows, scouting talented models, and producing riveting concept photo shoots to help their clients expand their brands, products, and services. Whether you're a business professional aiming to take your brand to the next level, planning a corporate or private event, a bride seeking to have the wedding of your dreams, or a model ready to be discovered, Steiner Event Group is ready for you.
Right.
Because it's really a good feel.
It is.
And you can find anything you need here.
True. Mm-hmm. Well, another event that we have that we're working together on is Beach Care.
Yes.
And services, and tell people a little bit what the mission of Beach Care is.
Beach Care Service helps locals. So if you live or work on the beach and you're having trouble finding, paying to get your car repaired, paying for your rent, anything that we can do to help you, to give you a hand up for short term, we do. So if your car's broken down and you can't get to work, what are you going to do? Your bills are going to pile up, and guess what's going to happen? You're going to move away because you can't stay here any longer. So Beach Care gives you that little up to where we can repair that for your car so you can get back to work and you stay living and working in our area. And later in one of the podcasts, we're going to speak to Pine, William Busquel, who is one of the founders of Beach Care Services. And his passion, when you hear him talk, it's like, oh, I have to be a part of that. Yeah. And that's exactly why I started, because he told me the passion and why he does what he does. And I got on their board about 6 years ago, and it's been amazing. It is so heart-filling, and the things that we do. And, we actually do a whole bunch of fundraising, which you're a part of our Beach Care Service fundraising as well. Right. But I went to somebody for a door prize, and what happened is he's like, hey, you're Beach Care Services? I'm like, yes. And he was a manager of one of these companies. He said, I came to Beach Care years ago. He says, and all I needed was a little bit, and they helped me. He says, and now I have a job, and now I'm a manager, and I run 3 different stores. I would love to give you a prize. So isn't that amazing that little bit of help brought him to where he needed to be to keep going?
True, yeah. And with the fundraisers that you mentioned, SEG is definitely proud to be a part of that and to work with. I mean, your board is impressive to begin with.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and then also they're not scared to work either. So that's been a good surprise. In fact, they're so organized. It's kind of like with the golf tournament recently. I mean, everything was like laid out well, and it's like, okay,
let's do it.
Whatever we need to do.
Beach Care Services does 3 big annual events. So we have the dinner that we have 800 for a sit-down dinner, and probably 12 to 1,500 where we have a little band party afterwards. Mm-hmm. Our golf tournament, which is sold out every year, which is amazing. And then we do duck races. So the duck races is you haven't been yet because it got canceled this year. But it's teams ride big ducks in a pool, and it's just hilarious. And we have different restaurants all around that will you can sample their food, so you get kind of a feel for everything that we have going on here, and then watch the duck race. It is hilarious.
And the amount of money that's raised for the Beach Care Services is really phenomenal. So,
that's right. And we give it all away, which is true. Yeah. So we have one lady that works in our office, and then Bill Busquel is our benefactor, and he has a big pay it forward at Pineapple Willie's every year. Amazing, and we're one of the big, he gives to Beach Care Services. He gives to 2 other charities as well, but that helps us get through the year, paying our rent, paying our electrical, all of that. So all of the money that we earn during our fundraising, we can give it all back.
All right, let's give another shout out to him before he gets here later today, because he would not want us to do that.
Correct.
But what was the amount of the check from Pay It Forward that they gave recently to Beach Care?
It was $60,000 to Beach Care Services.
Right.
He gave to 2 other charities as well.
Right.
I mean, he will give you everything he has.
And that's amazing, because he is one of the locals that has been here. I'm assuming he's been here his whole life. Has he?
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
that'll be exciting.
True,
yeah, he doesn't like all the pat on the back.
No,
he does it because that's what his passion is, and he loves to do it.
Right. So let's talk about the dinner a little bit more. Because, as an event planner, this is just like something I'm chomping at the bits about, because I'm excited about it. So you've done it. You've been in charge of the dinner the last
I started the dinner.
You started?
Well,
that's right.
Actually, it wasn't really a dinner. So we did a share night before, where you come to dinner and you get a little piece of the money goes to you, a little piece of the money goes to the restaurant. Well, they made a couple $1,000s, which was phenomenal for doing that. And then when I got on the board, they said, here you go. And they passed it off to me. And I'm like, oh, great. And I was like, okay, do we have to do a share night? Can we do something different? And they're like, sure. So we talked about it and we decided to do a big dinner, a sit-down dinner. So we started at Spinnaker. And our very first dinner, we had 665 people sit-down dinner, which was amazing. And then we did it at Spinnaker another time, and then we moved over to the shrimp boat. And then we had 800 for sit-down dinner.
It's amazing. Yeah.
And then we had an outside concert. So we probably had 12 to 1,500 people in total. So next year is going to be in March.
Right, March 1st.
And
Yep.
That's right, and I cannot wait. The support that we get from our community for this is amazing. We do VIP tables, we do general seating, so everybody already knows where their seat is. And then we do a silent auction and a raffle, and then we also give away $5,000 cash. So this year, Nate Sanitation gave us the $5,000 to be able to raffle. So we'll make double, triple, quadruple, hopefully, off that $5,000. But Nate's, when they heard what we were doing, they stepped straight up and said, we want to be a part of it.
That's amazing. And that's just kind of a good reflection of the quality of the businesses here and their giving spirit. Because,
Absolutely.
you know, that's just something else that I've been impressed with. Is just how people pitch in and help where needed. And most of the time, you don't even have to ask. And they're just ready, looking for the opportunity.
That's right. Like our chamber has ambassadors. So we probably have, I would say, 100, 150 ambassadors. Of those 150 ambassadors, I would say 60, 75 are really, really active. And all you have to do is put out a message saying, hey, we look for volunteers for this beach cleanup. They show up.
Right.
They just love to give back. And it's amazing because they all have jobs of their own, but they take their time to go and do all of these things to help our community. So our community is amazing. Well, you know.
Yes, I have totally. Well, that's the reason for the whole podcast and the YouTube channel is because something I wanted to do, trying to think of a way to do it that you can, you know, really showcase, like you, for example, and what you do for the community is huge. And then to showcase like different people in the event business, the wedding business, just corporate, you know, and people, you know, I've heard people say, well, there's not a lot of corporate work here. Well, there's more corporate work than you think. It's just, we focus on the beach because that's what really sells the area.
The beach is beautiful. So, you know, it's funny, the Hathaway Bridge, people have that as Mount Hathaway. Like the people on the beach go over and back and forth over the bridge. They don't think a thing about it. People in town like, oh, it's on the beach?
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
Well, you know, it's funny. You get, when you're here for a little bit, you understand when people say beach, they mean Panama City Beach. When they say town, it's Panama City.
Right.
And then I'm still trying to get front beach, middle beach, and back beach down.
Waiting for back beach.
We can't go there.
It's coming. So what's funny is because our chamber is Bay County and beyond, we do an event in town, we do an event on the beach, we try to get it back and forth so we can incorporate everybody and everybody has an opportunity because town's growing. It's really growing and it's awesome to see its growth. And a lot of that growth has joined our chamber because they know we reach Bay County and beyond.
That's true. And then you partner with Walton County on some different events, is that right?
We do. So in January, we do a dual business after hours, and we invite the Walton County Chamber to come with us, and we get their members, they get our members, and we just all network together, and it's just amazing because there's people you may never see.
Right.
But when we partner with them and do that, I wouldn't say a lot. Several are dual members where they're members of both chambers, but it's so nice to see all these people that you may not see.
Right.
And then you start to connect, and then you start to do business. So Walton County Chamber and us do a dual after hours, typically in January, and I think we have another one planned for this January at Distillery 98 in Idle Hounds. And then 30A TV's upstairs. So we have a really good setup for that event, and we have hundreds of people that attend that.
And 30A, we hope, will be one of our guests in the future. So
I sure hope so. Yeah. We'll just have to beg Paul a little.
Yeah. I think you can probably get him in.
I think so.
All right, good. So when I approached you about being the co-host and doing Luxe Life Discovered, what were your initial thoughts on that?
Oh my God, what? No.
Right. What are you thinking? No.
And then I thought, well, what are we going to talk about? When have we ever had problem to talk about anything if we're talking about something we love? And this area is something we love. The businesses is something we love. So it's so easy. We could talk for days about why we love it.
Yesterday at lunch, we're talking about, you asked me about so-and-so. Have you thought about him? I'm like, no. And, I'd mentioned somebody and you're like, well, I don't know them yet. And I was like, well, you will get to know them. And so it's going to be fun us networking has been huge, and us continuing to network in this arena here. This is going to be fun because we're going to discover so much more about hidden little treasures and discover more Luxe Lives. We gotta
Absolutely.
use that,
Some of
so-
the guests, I cannot wait to hear their story.
Right.
I mean, because a lot of them, you see them and you're like, oh, she's really a professional woman.
yeah.
Don't say anything wrong. And then you hear her and you hear her love or their love for the area, and you're
Right.
like, man, they're just like we are. They love our area too.
Sure.
So what brought them here? It's kind of a neat to see. I talked to somebody yesterday that wanted to join our chamber from New Jersey.
Really?
And I was like, "What are you coming here?" No, but he wants to network to our area because he knows his product would sell here.
Well, it's interesting. There's a gentleman, a photographer from Oklahoma. I think he's had a, vacation home or second home here for years, but he just recently moved back. But I'm doing my SEG bridal show at the Sheraton in February, and he contacted me and is going to be a vendor. And
I think I might have talked to him, huh?
Did you? Yeah.
I
Okay.
did.
Good.
Uh-huh.
Good. Yeah. Well, I told him to contact you.
Yes.
And so it's amazing just not networking with people locally,
Right.
but the reach it's having just in different states has
Right.
been huge. And just like you're saying, it's amazing how that networking is not confined to
Just
the
here.
beach. Yeah.
No, it's amazing. I may reach out to you and you go back home and you talk to somebody and then that person talks to there's no ending.
Right,
There's no
right.
ending to that.
And with the podcast, we want to showcase, like I said, even more and bring that interest even to a greater level.
Oh,
Because,
yeah. I love it. And all the growth that we're having on the beach, all the new hospitals coming here, the new senior living. I mean, this place has a little bit of something for everyone,
Right.
and it's amazing.
Well, good.
As you know, I love it.
Oh, yeah. Just a little.
Just a little.
Yeah. Well, so, gosh, I was thinking about, we get together, it's like we've known each other for years, and it's
I
only
know.
been like a year and a half, which seems unreal. And my wife, when we got the phone, she's like, goodness gracious, y'all sure do cover a lot of topics.
Oh,
And
we do.
because at least one comment will lead to a rabbit trail somewhere else that has
Right.
nothing to do with what we started. And then we got the phone and I never did ask her that,
I know, the one question we
Right.
called about. Yep.
So-
That's because we have so much to talk about.
This episode of Luxe Life Discovered is brought to you in part by Orville's Men's Store. Thank you, Orville's Men's Store, for supplying the men's clothing for today's podcast. For the absolute best in casual and dress wear for men, visit orvillesms.com. That's ORVILLESMS.com.
There's so much here to talk about.
There is.
There's so many different people here to talk about I can't wait to bring guests on and hear their story.
Yeah.
It's gonna-
it's going to be fun. And I think people may think, well, how many times can you showcase a Luxe Life, as I'll call it? But to me, a Luxe Life, it doesn't mean it has to be extremely wealthy or luxurious. It's people living their passion. In fact, our second podcast today will be with Grits owner Forrest Bishop, who is a chef, and it's her business, and she is amazing and does some of the most creative dishes, and is a private chef for very high-end, private dinners at estates and beach
Wow.
homes. And it's going to be fun to hear her aspect. And of
Right.
course, she's partnered with us on a concept shoot we did recently, and we're doing another one in November. And Forrest was like, oh, I would definitely want to be a part of that. So it's going to be fun. So,
Yeah.
I'm excited to find out more about her and why she came to the area and why she's here. And
Yeah, there's so many transplants in our area.
Yeah.
When you find somebody that says, oh, I've lived here forever, they're like, really?
I know it's odd to meet somebody that's
Uh-huh.
been here for a long time. Yeah. Like, oh, well, what's up with that,
Right, right. Because most people are transplants that come to the area.
Right.
But I think once you get here, why go anywhere else?
Well, I mean, sunsets. Of course, sunrise. I'm not an early morning person, so if I ever see a sunrise, it's good. Usually it's in somebody's post, that they saw it, and I'm like, wow, that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But sunsets, oh my gosh, this is just the best place in the world.
Now, I will tell you something that my husband and I found. We're like, let's go to the beach. And he's like, really? We can go to the beach? We're right across the street. Let's go to the beach. Well, we go to the beach every once in a while, and we run into tourists, and we say, where are you from? What brought you here? How often do you come here? And we find that they go to our beach coming from wherever they're from more than we do. That's a shame.
Well, that's true. We live in Kentucky, is where our home is, and we're 10 minutes from Kentucky Lake and land between the lakes. And so when we first moved there, our sons were probably like 2 and 3.5. And so every afternoon at 4 o'clock, we were on the pontoon out on the lake. And, we'd run into people that would like, well, we haven't been to the lake in 2 or 3 years. And we're like, how in the world could you not go to the lake? And then the boys, as they got older, got involved in sports and traveling soccer teams all across the country in the summer, And one day my wife looked at me and she's like, we've become those people.
I know.
Like, what? And she goes, we haven't been to the lake in 2 years. I'm like, you're kidding. And I thought about it. I thought, she's right. But sometimes we take for granted what's right there we have access to. And that's the case with people, even in the larger cities. It's like our event company did an event at the Rock Hall of Fame several years ago. And it was amazing to meet people in Cleveland that had never been to the Rock Hall of Fame. And it's like, it's right here. How could you not go? And then, it's just like you're talking about with the beach. We're so busy with life that we kind of just overlook some things.
Yeah, so my advice to anybody that lives here, go to the beach.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I mean, and it gets you out of your head and you're relaxed and now you know why. I mean, it's just so gorgeous. Just go visit the beach. Once you see it and you just let it out at the beach, it's just amazing.
Well, watch a sunrise or sunset and that'll clear your mind and put you in the right perspective for sure.
Every time.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, thank you for being the co-host and with me because
Thanks for
this
asking.
is going to be so much fun. We'll never have a loss for words, that's for sure. And I just hope we let the guests talk when they come on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we have to let them talk too.
I can't wait to hear them though,
I'm excited,
we'll be sitting there like this. Like
Yeah.
when I have conversations with Pine and some of the other guests that we're having on, when I'm listening, I just find myself staring and like I can listen all day long what they have to say. It's so exciting to hear where they started, why they came here, and now where they are.
Right.
The stories are endless.
It's just like with us, we're passionate about what we do and we live that passion, we exude that passion.
Absolutely.
And I'm excited to have others do the same thing. So
I can't wait.
All right, and thank you for joining us today for the podcast. We're excited about our next one, which will feature Forrest Bishop, who is a private chef here, and her company is called Grits. And we look forward to finding out about her passion and how she discovered her Luxe Life. So we look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and want to support our show, leave us a review. That's the #1 way to help this show reach others just like you. Join us next time for another Luxe Life Discovered.